Hi, I'm Eric Summerer, and here's what's coming from the Dice Tower this week.
Hey, I'm Tom Vasel, and this is actually not our regular news update. We have a lot of videos that will come out with this week. You'll just have to wait and see what they are. And a lot of big board game news happened, which we'll mention as soon as we can. But I want to specifically talk about the Dice Tower Convention 2012, which was held in Kissimmee, Florida, which is right next to Orlando, Florida. And we had 300 people sign up, and we actually sold out. It was, we wish we could have more folks, but it was wonderful. I got there. It was held in a hotel, and it was raining when we got there, but it soon cleared up, and it was a great place because you could walk out of your room and walk right over to the convention center. This is the convention center as we were starting to get it set up, and here you see the staff, especially right there in the blue shirt, Patrick Havert, who put the whole thing together along with a wonderful volunteer staff, and they just did an amazing job at putting it together. I didn't hear one complaint from anybody about the convention itself. It just ran so smoothly, and everybody just had a absolute tremendous amount of fun the entire time that we were there. One of the reasons was the library that we had. I brought in some of my favorite games, but even if I hadn't, there was just so many great games. And this was our first year. I mean, I can't wait to see how big and fantastic this library grows as time goes by. Outside the convention center, there are even places where you could play and get together and just chat. There was a place to eat. And Cool Stuff Inc. came in and set up a little store in a hotel room. And you could even... they brought in some great games to buy, but you could also, there was a computer there where you could order stuff from Cool Stuff online, and then they would bring it right there, since Cool Stuff is the local game store in Orlando, Florida. So that was neat. A lot of people bought that, but even if you didn't want to do that, there was a flea market that with just a huge amount of really quality games sold for really inexpensive prices. This is before the crowds came in, and we're still setting up, and you can see all these games, and it was just a really good time. The games were going for prices that I haven't seen games go for in a long time. And there was also an auction to raise money for the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund.
I beat Tom Vasel at the Dice Tower Con, and he didn't take it well. Now, along with his shirt, go to him afterwards and he will sign it and put anything on it you want.
Yes.
And between the raffle tickets and the charity auction, we raised almost $2,600 for the...
So that was a really good part, and I hope to make that auction a big deal in the future. We had people from all over Florida coming to this convention, but we also had people that came from all over America. Just under 50% were outside of Florida. And so we're really excited. And this was what the convention looked like basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Of course, Saturday was the busiest. But even though there was a lot of people there to play games with, it never actually felt super crowded. And there was always people that you could get together and play games with. You could just... I very rarely saw people wandering around who couldn't get involved in the game. The hotel even had people come in and with drinks that you could buy. There was a math trade. I think there's a math trade at every convention these days. People went home with a ton of games. We had Richard Launius there, who was there demonstrating several of his games. He came in and ran Arkham Horror for us. He ran actually quite a few of his games, including Defenders of the Realms. A great person to play games with. And we also had Richard Borg, who showed up. Here you see him teaching Hera and Zeus, but he also ran a Memoir 44 tournament and brought in his custom epic Overlord battle cry. And Mage Wars demo team came in, and they showed how to play Mage Wars. And I'm going to do a full review on this soon. But suffice it to say, it's my favorite game of 2012 thus far. R&R Games was there, and they were showing off many of their great party games. They ran a tournament for their new football game, First and Goal, and a lot of people got involved in that. And that wasn't the only tournament. There was a Warriors tournament. There was, all these other tournaments were kind of unofficial. There was a Heroescape tournament. There's got to be one of those at the Dice Tower Convention. And then there was just tons of games. I should mention that other game designers came in and showed off their prototypes. We had Robert Burke come in with Cartuna. I was just amazed. I didn't even need to bring any of my games. I'm glad I did because I have my custom Cosmic Encounter and such, but there was just so many neat things. Here we see, games that you don't often see, and then popular games, and they were back to back. And everybody was just tremendously friendly. There was courteous. I didn't hear any arguments. I didn't even hear about any arguments. It was just one of the most fun times I've ever had. I spent almost the whole convention, Eric, I spent almost the whole convention teaching games and going around and showing people games. But I could just go on and on. I was able to bring my family and my kids and my wife, Melody and Laura were there. I was able to see games that are not yet released in their prototype form, and games that have been released for a while, sometimes in their super upgraded form. Especially this one. Some guy had a Super Dungeon Explorer custom set, which was amazing. I mean, here you can see the ending where the druid is smashing the dragon, but it was a great set. And that's one of the cool things about conventions, that you can play these sets and play with families. There was a kids' room. You can bring in your prototypes. Here we see Nothing Personal that I taught to tons of people throughout the convention. Now I'm going to be making a geek list on Board Game Geek with full information about the convention and just everything. I couldn't fit in this video, but folks, I mean, it's going to be even bigger and better next year. We're going to have more designers and more publishers, and it's in Orlando. So keep an eye out. Hopefully within a month, we'll be able to give you the details for next year. We had to turn away 50 to 100 people this year. So please sign up as soon as we talk about it. I can't wait.
Find all this and more at Dicetower.com. See you soon.